Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Bethlehem IDA to order. And the first item on the agenda is to note that we have a quorum present. And thank you for everybody coming to the meeting today. The next item on the agenda today is to approve the minutes from our meeting from September 25th, 2020. You've all received a copy of the minutes in the information packet. Are there any modifications or changes to the minutes from the September 25th, 2020 meeting? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the September 25th, 2020 meeting, please?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Who was the second? I think it was
Victoria?
Who was it?
Well, I was one of two.
Okay, well, we'll go with you, Victoria, right now. Okay, so we have
Kate moved
Kate moved it and Victoria seconded it.
Yep. Okay.
Can I, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. Next item is the reports of committees. The Finance Committee met, well, we originally scheduled to meet, I think it was on October 9th, but because of the storm and the power outage, we had to move the meeting we moved it to October 16th, and we met to discuss the budget for 2021. If you went through the minutes, you can see what we did. And when we were able to hold the meeting, we worked through the budget. Al was there, and there's a draft of the 2021 budget that I put up on the screen. And Al, maybe you want to take us through how you crafted this budget?
Sure. The top line, the income, there's at least a thought that we're going to close at least one project next year. So I use the standard project size that we've had in the past for the fee income. There's a couple application fees put in there, assuming a business picks up. The annual fee those are based on past agreements that we're going to bill in January. We have agency counsel fees. That represents the fee we collect on a normal size project closing. And then the energy reimbursement fee, which, PSEG, I kind of brought that number down a little bit. That's been an uncertain number with the pandemic and their repairs and offline and their facility and everything. So it's a very achievable number. So that gives us our total revenue that we expect to collect of $90,744. On our expense side, our expenses are pretty constant and have been for most of the last 10 years. We've got Tom's salary restored at the full amount. The other employee benefits, which is a function of the salary. Our professional service contracts, which is the town for $50,000, my services, and then other fees that we pay for computer programs and things like that. We've got, we always put $100 in for supplies and materials. Occasionally we use that for postage or something. And then our other operating expenditures, the audit fee and dues to various organizations and website hosting and everything. So we came up with a total expenditures of $131,783. We also budgeted what we think will be the remaining amount of the economic development grants for the PPE reimbursements. So we put in $19,500. So we said in total we're going to spend $151,283, and as a result, we would use $59,339 of surplus. So those were the numbers for 2021.
And we put in the $19,500 based on the grants that we awarded in September and the grants that are on the agenda for today, totaling, I think it was about $5,500, leaving about $19,500 for potential grants for 2021. We don't have any new grant applications at this point, but we may get some more between now and the end of the year. But we felt it was appropriate to put in the 19.5 as a 2021 expenditure. One of the things that we had to think about was the fact that we're going to use fund balance, and as you saw, we're going to use a chunk of fund balance for 2021's budget. And you may remember that we have a fund balance limitation that is based on the expenditures for the previous 3 years, which these are the operating expenditures for the previous 3 years, being that it's 2017, 18, and 19. Obviously, we don't have the information for 2020 yet. And it was the average of the past 3 years times 2, which was our approved fund balance limitation. And so from this analysis, we're clearly not close to, this would be the projected fund balance at the end of 2021, $356,000. So we're still a ways away from the minimum fund balance requirement that we have for the agency. Any questions for Al or the Finance Committee with regard to the 2021 proposed budget? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the 2021 proposed budget?
So moved.
So moved.
I think Dick was first. Can I get a second? Somebody?
Second.
All right, thanks, Kate. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, communications. Tom, are there any communications?
No communications.
Thank you. Planning board update.
Rob couldn't make it this morning,
Okay.
but there's nothing new from the planning board and nothing new in terms of economic development.
Okay. That moves us to the 2020, September 30th, 2020 financial statements.
Okay, you have your packet, the financial statements through September 30, 2020, which cannot get over fast enough. And yeah, statement of net assets, the cash in our agency checking account is $231,901.74. Our CD account at Trustco is $201,450. Well, total cash balance of $433,351.74. Other current assets, we have prepaid expenses of $655.84, giving us total current assets and total assets of $434,007.58. Liabilities, we have accrued expenses of $13,680.87. That includes the accrual for the grants that were awarded, then the checks were issued the following month. So I accrued that back into September, which is the month when we made the award. So our total liabilities are $13,680.87, leaving us with net assets of $420,326.71. Statement of revenue expenses, fee income remains the same from the prior month, total $39,183.15. We will have another booking of fee income for the quarterly for PSEG in October. So that'll go up a little bit. Plus we'll have the last 2 months of the year that we accrue. On the expense side, salaries and wages, $24,284.04. Contractual expenses, $48,927.10. Employee benefits, $54,44.52. Giving us total expenses of $78,655.66. Leaving us with a loss of $39,472.51. Other income and expense, you see the interest income year to date is $1563.36. And then the other expense item is the grants for economic development, which is $21.35. Actually, it's $21.65, but I looked at the checkbook fast and didn't put the right number in. But that's where we listing these grants. They're not an ordinary, they're not as a result of our normal operations. So that's the placing his form as his other income. So our net income after all the adjustments is a deficit of $40,044.15. We compare that to budget. Total income is actually a little bit ahead of budget. The fee income will get caught up over the course of the year. Salaries and wages is pretty much on target, and contractual expenses are a little bit below budget. Employee benefits will adjust that at the end of the year. And the big difference is, we had not budgeted anything for the grants for economic development. So that's a variance. But year to date, we're actually kind of in line with what we had, the revised budget that we had made back in April, May there, after we realized the effects of the pandemic. Are there any other questions on the financials?
I've got a couple questions, and thank you very much, Al. And nothing to do with the financial, it's just to do with operations. So it might be Tom or you. Have we rebilled Monolith for the fee that they owe us and contacted them at all and asked for payment? And also, have we done anything with respect to the clawback?
Well, yes. I mean, we billed them for the clawback. And, we billed them for, fees like Hudson Russ and so on, but we haven't continued. What's the next step? I mean, it would be foolish to hire a law firm to go and sue them because they're going to be judgment proof so far as we're concerned.
Well, I don't know if that's hiring somebody, but I think perhaps maybe a call to the person who's running the organization and let them know, or her know, that they owe this fee, number one. And number two, I think that, have we turned over and asked the state for assistance in collecting their clawback that's due back to them? I mean, there should be another step, I believe.
Tom, who gave the opinion of judgment proof when it comes to taxes that are super liens?
There are no taxes that we're.
Well, the clawback essentially, right, is the pilot. Is that what we're talking about?
It's not a tax, though. It's a contractual payment.
Okay, but do we have a response? If I read the forms, we're supposed to update our actions to the state. Just sending them one bill, I don't know if that's, maybe we should give them a call.
Well, I'd be glad to give them a call.
Yeah, we can do that.
How much do they owe us?
It's about 9,000.
Oh,
9,000 in fees, and then obviously the clawback.
No, I think the total is okay.
what?
I'm just trying to remember. It's quite a while ago, and I can't remember. I think Frank is right. It's 9,000 in fees.
Like
And
50,000, isn't it?
I don't think so. As the taxes that they're talking about are mortgage tax and the sales tax on the framework that you see at the site.
Right. Well, we'll get the information and we'll contact Monolith and see if there's any follow-up that we need to do. And when we have our next meeting in November, we'll report back on any results.
Are they in bankruptcy? Is that the deal?
They're not in I don't quite understand it. They've got a receiver appointed by KeyBank, and I think it is a function of their solar projects. They've got something like 45 solar projects.
Gotcha.
And KeyBank had a receiver appointed for that. There's a foreclosure going on by Pioneer, but it's been stayed by the action to appoint the receiver, which I believe was in federal court.
Okay. There's got to be a way we could at least put in a claim, to preserve something, but I think we should definitely look at it again. Because a payment in lieu of taxes should be, the clawback is taxes you would have, or the benefit you would have otherwise received. And
Yes,
real property taxes, mortgage tax, sales tax, those are super liens. So they take priority over, your typical business loan or something like that.
We'll look into it and
Thank you.
report back in November. Other questions? Dick, I don't know if you have any more.
No, that was enough.
That was a good one.
It's no problem. It's no problem. Okay.
I have a follow-on question very quickly on Monolith. I wonder if there is any appetite on the part of Albany County to, support us or, make some sort of noise about this, because the county obviously would have gotten a large portion of the construction material sales tax had it been paid, and also the mortgage recording tax. So they actually do have a financial interest in our recovery.
We'll reach out and see if there's any opportunity to move this forward and try and collect some of that money. Thank you. Other questions? All right, let's move on. Under new business, we did the financial statements. The next item on the agenda is the COVID-19 grant program, the committee recommendation.
Want me to go or?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you. You have the minutes from our meeting recommendation that Tom provided to Frank, and we met on the 13th, and we discussed the applications that were presented. Again, Tom and Robin did a great job coordinating and consolidating the information for the committee. And we have seven applicants that we reviewed. Each application was complete. The receipts were there for the requested grant reimbursement, and it's Bicentennial Realty for $500. Kellyanne Salon Bombshell Hair and Beauty, which was a micro grant, a small business grant recipient, $500. Bake for You, also recipient of small business, $363.77. Share the Vine, Twisted Wine, also a small business grant, was $500. The Two Bettys, the Perfect Blend, $500. Los Panchos, $500, and the Bethlehem YMCA, $500, for a total of $3,363.77. As was reported earlier, taking that and adding to our prior grant of $2,165, which brings the total to $5,528.77. So right now, are there any questions? You've all received the application, and you have the spreadsheet that Robin puts together on the right there. If we can read it, it's hard. So are there any questions that anybody has on the applications, or any other questions with respect to the process?
Hearing none. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, hearing done, and quite frankly, the work that Victoria and Kate and Tom and Frank did on the process really makes it for a very nice experience and easy to handle. So, okay. So I guess we have a motion. I guess that's up to you, Frank.
First we got to go to public comment to see if there's any public comment. Robin, are there any members of the public who have registered to comment on any of these grants?
No, Frank, there is no one in attendance to make a public comment. We did not receive any public comments via email or mail.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So now we can move to the resolution approving the COVID-19 small business grants that have been presented by the committee. Can I get a motion to move that?
Motion.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
The movements were Kate and Victoria.
That's correct. Kate moved it. Victoria seconded it. All right. And again, thank you to the committee and the work that you're doing. I'm sure It's a fair amount of work to put this together and analyze what's going on and make sure that all the applications are complete. So thank you very much.
And I'd like to thank the committee as well. If you recall, last time I was a little bit disturbed about seeing information in the newspaper that was ahead of what the IDA had actually done. And I didn't see that happen. So anyone who, worked to keep the process clean, let us make a decision before it was reported. Thank you. This seems to have gone really well this time.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the employment analysis. And Tom,
Yes, annually, the board should review the employment at its projects, and that's what this report does. You've received this report over a number of years, and the only difference that I'm finding this year is in Air Products, which will require some research. Just to remind you what happened with Air Products. We had an application from Air Products for their project on a river road, and it called for retaining 44 jobs and an investment of $14.1 million. It was a very good project from our point of view. Before it closed, Air Products said that it was going to do a joint venture with Linde. Linde is another manufacturer of air products in Selkirk, at which there were 22 jobs. We never did a project with Linde, but it enhanced our project because, we could say and did say that we would save, instead of 44 jobs, 66 jobs. And you can see that the numbers here are original estimate 48, and that the number would grow over, I can't quite read it, I think it was a year, to 66. In other words, after the improvements were made on the manufacturing equipment, Air Products intended to have I don't know whether they sold it, but anyway, to supply product to Linde from the Glenmont site that would enhance the jobs of Linde's 22 employees. And I've been in touch with Air Products, but I need a breakdown on the jobs, and they haven't given the breakdown to me yet, so I'm not sure what the answer is. The first answer I got was in Selkirk, which is Linde, they are no longer making liquid. The trailer production is shut down. So that sounds like they're talking about Linde, but I don't know. Otherwise, it's the jobs are what we see there is what we expect.
But you'll continue to pursue that, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from anybody about this employment analysis? So can I get a motion to approve the employment analysis for 2019, please?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And Tom will follow up and let us know a little bit more about what's going on with Air Products as soon as he gets that information. All right, moving on to new business. Any new business to discuss? Well, hearing none. A reminder of our next meeting, which is going to be Friday, November 20th at 8 a.m., planning on remote. If there's no new business or anything else, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in November.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.